All right, let's continue with requirement C. We put down our structure already. Weighted average CS ratio, friends, revision point. We talk about that and not simply CS ratio when we have multi-products. All right. What information do you need? You've got to put them together. And this has been the trend in PM recently. The city holidays will be priced at 1,200. The countryside holidays will be priced at 1,001. So you see, sales is 1,200 times the number. 1,100 times the number. How about coastal holidays? Introducing the two new holidays will mean a 5% reduction in the demand for coastal holidays. To limit the reduction in demand to 5%, the price of coastal holidays will be reduced by 6%. All right, 6%. Currently, the price for coastal holidays is 1,000. So to reduce it by 6% means it's now going to be equal to 94% of 1,000. So I just, I'm talking about sales. I'm working sales here. Okay, contribution is also sales minus variable cost. So 1,002, 1,001, 94% of 1,000. So those are the sales per unit. I need to figure out the number of units, so I multiply to give me the total sales. Annual demand will be 14,000 holiday places. Countryside, annual demand will be 12,000. Okay. Coastal, a 5% reduction in demand. Don't forget, the demand for coastal has been capacity 300 times 52, 300 per week times 52 weeks times 70%. It will reduce by 5%. So the number of holiday places is 14,000. The number of holiday places here, so times, is 12,000. The number of holiday places here will reduce by 5%, which is going to be those 300 per week times 52 weeks times 70%, whatever that gave us. Now, that number will go down by 5%, so times 95%. What have I done? I took my time, understanding that sales is selling price per unit times number of units. I took the sales price per holiday place for each one of them, and I multiplied by the number of holiday places given to me in the question. Now, so total contribution, total sales is the sum of the sales from all three services. How about the contribution? I know contribution is selling price per unit minus variable cost. Friends, instead of the examiner giving me variable cost per unit, he gives me contribution to sales ratio. Can somebody figure out how we can use the CS ratio to work back to get a contribution? You see, C over S. If somebody tells you C over S for city holidays is 55%. So C over S is 0.55. Cross multiplication, 0.55 times S will give me C. If you're not sure, write it down on paper and see what I'm telling you. Contribution to sales ratio, so C over S is 0.55. So if you cross multiply, 0.55 times S will give you C. So I'm just going to do, this sales times 0.55 will give me the contribution per unit. For countryside holidays, the CS ratio is 50%. So if I multiply the selling price by 50%, I'll get a contribution per unit. For coastal holidays, I am told that the CS ratio is 45%. So if I multiply the sales by 45%, I get that. I'm talking about total contribution, so I've got to multiply by the number of units. 14,000 city holidays. 12,000 countryside holidays. And the number of holidays for coastal holidays has reduced by 5%. Remember, it was 300 places per week times 52 weeks in a year times 70%. It reduces by 5%, so times 95%. So I got my total contribution from all three services to be that. So the weighted average CS ratio is total contribution based on budgeted units divided by total sales based on budgeted units. Weighted average CS ratio as a percentage, that, let me make it about whatever percent. I mean, decimal places. It's entirely up to me. But whole number, it will distort your final answer too much. Friends, 6 marks for 2 things. Highly likely, the marking guide is going to allocate 3 marks for weighted average CS ratio and another 3 marks for total break-even sales. You see why people fail? Most people will not do the second part. And what's the guarantee that the 3 marks for weighted average CS ratio, you got it? So even if you did well there, you got 2 over 3, which is a very good pass. Your overall score for requirement C is 2 over 6 because you forgot to answer the second part. This is one of the reasons a lot of people don't do well in PM. So watch out. So now I set up myself already. So I'm going to calculate the total break-even sales. The total break-even sales revenue, I know I've got to get the total fixed costs. Then I've got to work out the weighted average, which I worked out already. CS ratio. Friends, the exams is difficult. But very doable. So do what you must do to get easy marks first. You are given the total fixed cost of the 3 services. $60.60, $53.50. And the fixed cost for coastal holidays will remain unchanged. It used to be how much? $4,320. It will remain unchanged. City holidays, 60,000. Countryside holidays, 50,000. Total fixed cost coming from all 3 services. That weighted average CS ratio was that. Own figure rule. Use your weighted average CS ratio, correct or incorrect. If it's incorrect, your break-even sales revenue will be wrong, but you will get full credit for it. Because after all, you showed how you got the incorrect figure. But in this case, it's correct, so we are not worried. So break-even sales revenue is going to be total fixed costs divided by the weighted average CS ratio. Friends, you are done. This is the break-even sales revenue in dollars. For this company to break even, for CC to break even, they've got to make this money. Friends, spend less than a few seconds to format these numbers. You don't get marks for spreadsheet skills like that, but do it. Who knows? You may impress the marker at that point. All right. That is requirement C answered. Whilst we are on, let me remind you that the constructed response practice question in chapter 5, Aka Hotel, Health Nuts, they had the same issues that are in this question also there. So take a look at them also. All right. So 6 marks done. If there's any question, you can please ask.
Please, let's see the total fixed cost again.
All right. Total fixed costs, I only repeated the individual fixed costs mentioned in the question. And I summed them up. 60 plus 53 plus 43.20. Right? Those were just given. They were easy numbers. They were just given. Yeah. All right. Requirement number D. Discuss the problems with the assumptions made when carrying out the calculations in C. 4 marks, lots of PM candidates are going to talk about limitations of CVP analysis, and they'll end it there. Revision. One of the limitations on CVP analysis is that total fixed costs are constant throughout. There's a problem with that. The problem is that at a point, total fixed costs may not be constant anymore. I'll come back to that. Another limitation is that selling price per unit is assumed to be constant throughout. In this case, it's Charminster coaches. Rather than saying selling price per unit, I'll change my language. The charge per holiday place. So that's my selling price per unit. If you go into the PM exam and you go saying selling price per unit for all manner of questions, holiday places, you are saying per unit, you are not answering the question. You are a textbook person. You will not score the marks. variable cost per unit. So variable cost per holiday place has been assumed to be constant. 4 marks there. What other assumption is in CVP analysis? That production and sales are the same. So there are no closing stocks. So the assumption that bookings will be the same as the budgeted. I'll explain that when I come down. It's also a limitation. Now, one big problem, people lose all 4 marks because they just go to the exam and say to the examiner or to the marking team, the limitations of CVP analysis are blah, 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 and they walk away. You don't get the marks. Now, let me tell you about this. Total fixed costs are assumed to be constant. This may not be true because my thumb card in PM is to use the joining word because. This may not be true because in the case of CC coaches, the fixed costs may increase or may experience a step up when further bookings require the acquisition or rental of additional buses or the employment of new staff or employment of additional staff. So if bookings go beyond a certain limit, your buses may not be enough to carry the guys. So you may be forced to rent another bus at a fixed cost. So that would be a step up. So if that happens, then the assumption that fixed costs are constant throughout is meaningless or does not work anymore. So discuss the problems with the assumptions. That is one of the problems with the assumptions. The charge per holiday place has been assumed to be constant. In the case of CC coaches, a large group of customers may require or may ask for a discount, say during the winter season. And to be able to increase bookings beyond the 40% expectation, CC might have to give some discounts. In that case, the charge has reduced rather than being constant. So that's a limitation with the assumption. I did not just tell the examiner selling price per unit is supposed to be, is expected to be constant, pouring out my knowledge. No, I answered the question in the context of CC coaches. Okay, variable cost per holiday place has been assumed to be constant. Large bookings with hotels might come with discount offers from those hotels and so reduce the variable cost per holiday place booking. Forget my typos. I'll correct all of this. Per holiday place booking. Similarly, poor cost may go down when we have more bookings to be traveled along the same distance. Right. Forget my typos, I'll correct them. I have 4 marks. Friends, I may not necessarily be doing all 4 points in the exams. My starting point is do 2. That's my benchmark. And I don't want to go below that benchmark. Do 2 minimum. If I can do a 3rd and a 4th, and I'm doing that because I don't want to overrun on time here. Bookings will be the same as the budgeted. Well, problem is that the number of bookings may be different. How do I put this for you? So let's imagine that, okay, if this was manufacturing, all that you manufacture, all that you, how do you call it? Or you manufacture, you produce, you sell. So here, all the bookings that have been made, the language is the guys will travel. It's possible that some people will book, but when the time comes, they will book and then pay part of the fee. When the time comes, they won't travel. And when they are not traveling, they will justify it and say they cannot pay the rest of the fee. If that is the case, then it means that the bookings are not the same as those who traveled. So in that case, the assumption that you get the revenue from all those travelers doesn't work. And if it doesn't work, then clearly the assumption has limited the usefulness of CDP analysis, if you get what I mean. So discuss the problems with the assumptions made. That's what has been done. Most PM candidates will not answer the narrative parts. The narrative parts, when you take a break, you realize that there are things that you can actually do, okay, quite more easily than even the calculations. Now, discuss the problems involved in setting targets for customer service. What do you think? Problems involved in setting targets for customer service. Number 1, a lot of subjectivity in customer service level. I mean, what customers are expecting as customer service is different for many people. There's a lot of judgment there. I mean, what is customer service to somebody who is traveling with CC coaches? Is it about the fact that when they are traveling, the buses are clean? Or when they are traveling, they have good wine and good food on the buses? Or is that if it's air travel, that would be the air hostesses. But on road travel, how do you call those guys? Well, in Ghana, they are the conductors, whatever they are, the driver assistants, the niceness of the driver assistants is that we call customer service. So determining the level or the target for the level can be very difficult because there's a lot of subjectivity in that. All right. What next can we see as problems involved in setting targets for customer service? Anything else you can see or you can tell? Now, we might think, for example, that if we ask customers what they think they are looking for, the problem is that it may be difficult to get the right customer group that will be representative of what everybody needs. So you might, for example, talk to some of your customers, asking them what they are expecting. Some of these customers may exaggerate matters. Some may not even answer your questionnaires. So getting the right group of customers to get information from to determine the levels that are expected can be difficult.
I would say difficulty in measuring satisfaction.
Difficulty in measuring satisfaction levels. Yes, we can say that. Difficulty in measuring satisfaction levels. Is that different from a lot of subjectivity in customer service? Yeah, difficulty in measuring. Yeah, measuring. I think measuring is fine. Measuring satisfaction levels. How satisfied people are with services is difficult to measure. I mean, I am offering a service, I'm teaching, I'm preparing for the PM exam. How satisfied you are for all of you is different. For somebody, the way questions are answered, look, you would have expected that you go. I was teaching a class before where talking about learning curve theory. I had a surprise when somebody criticized my class to say that I rushed with the punching of logarithm on the calculator. I should have taken more time to show them how the logarithm button is pressed. Well, she was very angry at that because she said, I assume everybody knows how to press the logarithm on the calculator. Now, at that time, I thought, well, take your calculator, log of 0.90 divided by log of 2. Once I do one example, it's okay. But she thought I must have done it many times and even use different kinds of calculator to demonstrate it. So satisfaction levels can be different. Measuring it, yes, I agree with you perfectly. Any other? There are 3 marks there. Don't overdo things. Of course, when I'm sending the answers to you, I'll add a third. Off head doesn't come, but I'll add a third. Our time is limited also. So friends, that's it about that revision question on CVP analysis. In the past, when the examiner tested ACA hotels and also tested health nuts, these questions proved very difficult for majority of people. As a matter of fact, in my estimation, these questions were even more difficult than Charminster coaches that we just did. But try your hands on those also and do the revision questions on the objective tests and objective test cases. It will do you a lot of good to revise for CVP analysis. Okay, any questions or any more points, guys? So that we can say goodbye to second session C question. I think it has also been debriefed by the expert tutor. You can watch his recorded lecture also if he's debrief also, if it has been debriefed, and compare and then use that alongside mine as well and see how it works for you. Okay.